Greetings of peace, dear friends. With God's name, the merciful benefactor, the merciful redeemer, all the praise and gratitude belongs to Allah, the Most High. Prayers and peace upon Muhammad the Prophet, and peace be upon you also, dear souls. Welcome to the Facebook live stream here on Tuesdays. I am Dr. Z, Zayd Abdul-Karim. Dr. Z greeting you in light, love, peace, and harmony. My spiritual vision, purpose for why I'm here is to help end suffering by healing fear-based living so that you can live in unconditional love and reach more of your human potential and power. And what I do is I help high-achieving African-American women and men, business leaders who are ready for more, who want to come out of the shadows of average so that they can live the purpose-filled business and life that they deserve with the unshakable clarity and courage to make their money, impact, and fulfillment goals come true. And so today, talk a little bit about what I found out in working with people is that quite often they want to be further along in their life, in their business, in their relationships, in their health, in their bank accounts, but they feel like they don't have enough knowledge, or they think they don't have enough knowledge. So what do? They go read another book, take another course, and they think the answer is going to be in that book. But you see, that's the false problem. It's not that they don't have enough knowledge. I've talked to one person, she's got 5 book shelves full of books. The problem is they don't use the knowledge that they have. And the reason for that is because they haven't developed that unshakable mindset for the unshakable mindset for personal growth. And so many just hoard the knowledge instead of applying it. And this is the biggest problem in the world today, is applying the knowledge, because people have been taught that knowledge is power, but knowledge is not power until you apply it. So the real solution is developing that invincible mindset for growth. And today's topic is increasing consciousness through empowering questions. So I ask you, would you comment if you're on live now or on the replay so that I'll know you're here? Just put a comment in. Give us some likes or some heart emojis if you're resonating with anything that we're saying as we go through this. Or make comments. Write any thoughts or questions that you have in the comment box. And I promise I'll come back to comment on your comments at a later time. Now, I do have something that I want to share with you at the end of this presentation. So we'll ask you to, hang on, stay on till the end. And I've saved some time, have a few slots on my calendar for those who, might want less stress in their lives and want more peace in their lives. Then here's how you can get access to me. I have put it in the top of the the post here, but I'll also put it in the chat. Yes. That's how you can get in touch with me. Now, let's get into the topic. Topic is increasing consciousness and beyond through empowering questions. You see, we want to end suffering. I know our people are in a lot of suffering, and we want to end that suffering so we can start using higher intelligence. So many people, they are stuck in fear, limiting their potential and their power, and they're not even aware that that's what they're doing. And that's why I created this program, Increasing Consciousness and Beyond, in Suffering, to start using higher intelligence. It's a 3-month course to reprogram your brain, change your limiting beliefs, thoughts, and behaviors so that you can have more clarity and courage to make the necessary change to live more powerfully and achieve more of your potential and your power as a human being. You'll release stress, have more peace of mind to fulfill your meaningful goals, and you'll become the person that you need to be to thrive in life and business. The truth is, if you want more in life, then you've got to become a better person. And it involves a place for self-reflection and dialogue, where you can shift limiting beliefs to empowering beliefs. A way to increase your energy and you gain clarity over confusion and ask empowering questions. So we were in class, I think it was last week. It was a group of about 10 people. And the question came up. Why are questions important to move us to faith and trust, to move us to right actions and desired results? So the mistake and the problem that most people make is that they are living through their limiting beliefs. And then they have low energy, and confusion comes from that about what they really want to create. You know, I ask people, what do you want? And they start telling me what they don't want. So that confusion then leads them to asking disempowering questions like, well, what's wrong with me? Why can't I get there? And start comparing themselves to other people. Anybody know what I'm talking about here? Yeah. Thank you. And all of that puts them in fear. And then they react from the fear. Reacting from fear is never going to get us what it is that we want. So they're not producing what they really desire. It's true, isn't it? Yes. Thank you. And if you think it's true that too many of us are living in fear and not really producing what we could produce based on our potential and power, then type true in the comments for me, please. And as we go through again, if it resonates, even if you're on the replay, give us some comments, give us some likes, give us some hearts. Let us know that you're rocking with us. Thank you. So that's the ordinary model for people who are unconscious, living their life on autopilot, living like Bill Murray in that movie Groundhog Day, where it's the same day over and over and over again. Yeah, that's funny in a movie, but it's not funny in real life. To be stuck and not know how to get out of it. So to increase consciousness and beyond, to use higher intelligence, we've got to change our limiting beliefs, raise our energy, get clarity about what we want to produce, and ask empowering questions instead of the disempowering questions that have become a habit that we're accustomed to. Complaining and blaming and questions that don't get us where we want to get. So the student asks, why are empowering questions so important? So I'd like to tell you a quick story. Is that okay? Thank you. So, and this is a story about where I learned about the power of questions. So, some of you all heard my story. I barely got out of high school, McKinley Tech in Washington, D.C. I wasn't always Dr. Z, you know. And my bad habits and my poor work ethic, they followed me to college. My third year in college, I was at Penn State University, and I almost flunked out. Got my report card. It was 2.0. I knew, keep doing what I was doing, that I was going to get below 2.0, and they were going to kick me out of school. So I was faced with the pain of failure. Any of y'all ever been faced with the pain of failure before? If so, type in the chat for me, pain of failure. Just want to know that we're resonating with each other, whether it's live or whether it's in the replay. So, faced with the pain of flunking out of college, failing my parents, and more importantly, failing myself, in my soul searching one day on the side of the bed. I remember like it was yesterday. And I asked this question: what is the purpose of my life? Why am I here? There's got to be more to life than basketball, parties, and girls. I was 20 years old. And I learned a very important lesson. First, that when you ask different questions, you get a different answer. And secondly, that our life will be determined by the questions, the quality of the questions that we ask. So, that was a pretty powerful question. And the thing about questions is when you ask, an answer is going to show up. They're always showing up if we just pay attention, right? Well, the answer that I got was that never were the human beings or the non-physical creatures created except to worship the Creator. So I discovered my purpose is to worship God, but I didn't know how to do that, right? And so I had to learn. And what that really means is, God doesn't need anything from me or us, but it means that I have to serve. I'm obligated to serve creation, to serve people, and to serve creation. So that answer shifted me. And I decided that I wanted to graduate from college. And I changed my attitude because I wanted to achieve. I changed my work ethic, and I turned my teachers into mentors. Asked them how could I get an A, and they told me, and I did what they said. So from that question, an empowering question, I shifted and began to operate from a place of faith instead of fear. And I trusted myself, and I trusted the process. And as a result, instead of flunking out, I got on the honor roll. And I stayed on the honor roll for 18 months, and I graduated from Penn State University. So those were the results. And it all started from the question, because the question made me see things differently, and I'm going to explain why, the science behind it in just a minute. But not only did I graduate, but I found myself through that process. And third, I found my wife, and we've been married for 44 years. A beautiful, wonderful accomplishment during this particular time that we're living in today. So yeah, if anybody's out there, let me know that you do hear me, that we're live. That I would appreciate having that heads up. And if you're watching the replay, just let me know that, yeah, you're here and you're resonating what we're talking about. So the reason that empowering questions work, would you like to know? Thank you. The reason empowering questions work is because they engage the brain at a deeper level. There's so much about the brain that we have not been taught. We don't really know how it works. Not even really knowing how to think and reason properly. Most people tend to think and reason based on we all think and reason based on what we take in through our five senses, but most people think and reason from the news, from CNN, from MSNBC, from what people are talking about at work or in the community, or people's complaining or blaming, or oh, that's weird, or all the kind of stuff that's in the environment that we soak in through our five senses. But when we start using powerful words, the brain is going to engage in a different way because it operates off of images. So powerful words are going to lead to powerful images. The powerful images are going to lead to powerful feelings. And those powerful feelings give you the energy to take powerful action. And when you take powerful action, you get powerful results. You see it? That's how it works. That's how life works. The brain operates off of the images. Imagination is born from the words. So for example, if I say the word refrigerator, right? What do you see? I say refrigerator, and thank you, Musa alaikum assalam. I say refrigerator. You're not thinking refridgerator. Aren't you thinking about the refrigerator in your kitchen? Whether it's gray or silver or white or, right? You might even be thinking about what's in it. Depending on what time zone you're in, you might even be thinking about, man, it's dinner time. I'm ready to eat. Right? But you see the refrigerator in your mind. So I want to ask you to do a little exercise with me right quick. Just to prove the point. If you write down the word poverty, Poverty. Poverty. Now, what kind of images come to your mind when you see the word poverty? Well, hey, and you can type something in the chat if you want to play along with me. Quite often, we see that people will say things like homelessness. You know, we live outside of San Francisco, so I'm just thinking about the section called the Tenderloin, where there's open drug, not only just drug traffic, but somebody told me last Friday they were there actually visiting, doing some work, and they were in the Tenderloin section, and people were outside shooting drugs out in the open public. You think about poverty, right? You think about abandoned homes. Maybe you have images of, yes, people that are broken. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Musa. Appreciate the engagement. Yeah. Now, when you think about homelessness and hunger and abandoned homes and drug use, what kind of feelings do we have? Right? You type it in the chat. Right? Don't we start feeling down? Don't we start feeling, maybe people will say they feel sadness. They'll say that they feel hopelessness when they think about poverty. Right? Feelings of, sadness and hopelessness. Victim mentality. Well, that's low energy, isn't it? You can feel it right now as we just talk about this. So, yes. My man, thank you. My man, M-A, man. So, write the word beach, B-E-A-C-H. Yeah, people want to give up when they feel like giving up. Just can't go on. So, write the word beach, B-E-A-C-H. I'm going to put it in the chat myself. And when you see the word beach, right, what kind of images come along with the word beach? Well, I'll type a little bit in here too. People start seeing sand, they see sunshine, beach chairs. What else what are the other images that come along with the word beach? Obviously, you got the water, got waves, got, people laughing and running, right? Yeah. Now, those images of the beach, what are the feelings? There you go. You hit it, Musa. Joy, happiness, right? People are feeling fun. It's joyful. It's great. It's a great time at the beach. So, how's the energy right now when we're looking at these images and these feelings, right? I mean, we'd have to agree that it's positive, right? Positive energy comes from those positive images and feelings. Yes. Thank you. So we can conclude then that the feelings is what leads to the energy, and the energy is what leads to the actions. But if we have a choice now between what we want to put our attention on in any moment, would we rather put our attention on the poverty, which is going to lead us to low energy, or put it on the beach, what's going to lead us to positive energy? It's a no-brainer, right? We want to live in a high vibration, so we focus on the beach. And this thing is engaging our brain in words and images that's going to help us produce what we want. And that's why empowering questions really, really work. So here are a few empowering questions that can really shift your life. I told you my whole life shifted on one question. What is the purpose of your life? And we found that purpose, and we've been living in that purpose and also helping other people find their purposes. So here's a question. I'm going to put a couple of these in the chat just so that you have it. If you're following the replay, you have something that you can take away and you can use it. You can use it today. So here's 3 questions. What specifically and measurably do you want to create and produce? See, a whole lot of people are asking questions like, things like, well, how come I can't get it done? Why is it we don't have enough money to invest in ourselves, right? Why do I even need to invest in myself? So if we start asking more powerfully, what specifically and measurably do you want to create and produce in your life, right? Then you're going to ignite your brain, right? What is required for me to be the person who produces that thing? And who do I need to be? There are even more questions, right? Like, what is required for me to make the transformation? Who do I need to cooperate with so that there's mutual benefit in truth and patience, right? Where are my ideal clients? What is the best timing? When is the best timing for me to produce and become and do? These are powerful questions. Yes, Musa, they're serious questions, right? So you could ask the question, what's blocking me? And of course, that's a good question because it can help you identify the limiting beliefs. And thank you for the engagement. I love the engagement and interaction. It's like God will give us more things the more we cooperate and engage with each other. So, yeah, what's blocking me? That's a good question. And sometimes it's hard for us to identify that because the brain already has a memory of everything that's blocking you. And it's going to want to pull up those things that it has memory of because that's what it knows and that's what's comfortable. Maybe a better question would be, and again, it's important to ask that question, but then a follow-up question could be, what will release me from blocking, right? From being stuck? What's required for me to get unstuck? Slightly different question. I remember some time ago, some years ago, I was talking with my daughter. And she was in her 30s then. And she said what she does is sometimes she'll just ask the question, just put it out in the universe. Just put it out in the atmosphere. Don't try to answer the question, right? You just put it out there and allow spirit to bring you the answer. That's what I did when I was 20. I said, what's the purpose? I have no idea of where to get it. I didn't try to answer the question. I just asked, what is the purpose? Why am I here? And God led me to an answer in the Holy Book, right? Your purpose is to serve, right? Yes. And so, those are some questions, some empowering questions that can move you on your path. And by asking empowering questions, you are engaging your brain in imagination. The brain will begin to picture what it is that you want to create. And then you'll move into faith and trust. You know, your brain is a goal-achieving machine. It will actually, it's like a Google search engine. Whatever you put in a box, it'll bring you the results. And so when you start moving, you engage your brain that way, and you start moving in faith and trust, even though you don't know how, and even though you don't know when, but you're making a decision to change your beliefs, and you'll begin to believe that what you want, you can actually produce it. Because three things will happen when you re-engage your brain. First, the ideas and thoughts are going to come in alignment with the vision that you imagine. Second, your perception is going to change because you'll be putting your attention on what you want to create instead of the limitations. Brain is the most powerful technology on the planet. An example of your perception changing is, remember when you bought that new car? And when you drove off the lot, you saw that car everywhere. It's amazing, right? Well, that's what happens when you put your attention on powerful questions. And the third thing that will happen is coincidences and synchronicities will begin to show up. You'll get a call from somebody out of the blue. I got a call this morning. Because sometimes, the phone rings if you don't recognize the number. If I don't recognize it, I won't even answer it. But I answered this particular one, and I don't know what's going to happen. But somebody was interested in our 25 Days Living Your Happiness book. And they said that they represent some of these traditional publishing houses like Harper Collins and all that kind of stuff. And that they wanted to check, make sure that I was the guy, that this was the book and what was my email, and they were supposed to send me some information. So I asked questions, right? Asked empowering questions. I asked because I wanted to be clear what they were talking about. And basically they're scouting to see maybe if the book will be considered, for a traditional publisher. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen or what's not going to happen. All I know is I got a call out of the blue. That's all I'm trying to say is once you make a decision, once you get your brain engaged with these empowering questions, things will show up. People will show up. Opportunities will show up that are in alignment with what you want to create. Anybody ever experienced that? Let me know in the chat if you've experienced it, right? Because that's how this thing works. And some people say it's weird. Oh, that's weird that happened. Or they think it's magic. But it's not magic. It's just how the brain and the basic human operating system works. It's not good or bad. It's just how human operating system works. We just got to learn how to work with it. Nobody taught us. And isn't it helpful to have this explanation about how the brain works and the power of questions to move you to action from a powerful place of faith and trust? Isn't that helpful? Yes. Of course it's helpful. Thank you. So change and growth is the nature of all life. We fear change, we resist change, but change is the only constant in this world. And we want to move from dissatisfaction and pain to grow in higher levels of freedom, higher levels of satisfaction and joy, don't we? Yes. Thank you. So if you find that life has now put you in the mode for internal change, for internal growth, then this is an excellent method for your soul, for your heart, and your mind. And the truth in the divine instruction is that even God won't change your conditions outwardly until you change what's within your own soul. So that's why we created this Increase in Consciousness and Beyond program, and we're going to start another 3-month session next month in March. There's limited space. We only want to work with 10 people. 10 people. And right now there are about 3 spots left. When they're gone, they're gone. And this is what you'll get from taking us up on this offer. That this is a playbook for raising your game consciously and subconsciously. A system to level up your life and your business. Because you'll recognize the blessings coming to you from a higher consciousness, like served up to you on a platter for you to use. Is it possible that right now you are not fully aware of your consciousness or your level of consciousness or the need for more consciousness? Well, That's where a lot of my clients start. But they end up, and you'll end up with an awareness of the ability to expand your consciousness, awareness of how to eliminate, minimize, or at least deal with the ideas and beliefs that are limiting your consciousness, your energy, and your power. Awareness of other thoughts that will start coming to you once you start on the path of raising your focus, your point of focus, your energy, and your vibration. Did you know that awareness is the key to freedom? Yes, it is the key to freedom. And I guess lack of awareness is the key to constraint. Because the more consciously aware you are, the more freedom you have. And as you grow, you'll desire to bring this to other people. Right? What were we taught? Want for your brother and sister what you want for yourself. I mean, love it for them more than you love it for yourself. In fact, what it is that you want, if you learn how to give it away first, then it'll come back to you. This is the law of reciprocity. Or you'll have other people come and see this and get some understanding, so all of us can raise our levels together. We rise together. That's what we want, right? The rising tide raises all boats. Yes, sir. Right there with you. So the biggest takeaway is awareness of how Allah, the Creator, has structured this human life for you to succeed on many, many levels. How your life is structured for your greatest benefit and how to go after it. This program will bring together things you've heard and seen before. I'm not the only one talking about consciousness and limiting beliefs and intuition, law of attraction, all of that stuff. But it's put in a package that you can wrap your mind around and understand and give you some clear definition. You know, definition is direction towards your destiny. And this program will help you get that definition and that direction towards your destiny. You'll see how you as a soul are part of the one soul and how it's all connected. And what you can do with that information and energy to expand your life. Once you see the light, you cannot go back to the darknesses. Isn't that right? Yes. Thank you. You'll be able to see your growth in your vision with fewer obstacles. You'll see how to deal with those obstacles. You'll see yourself more in a life of peace and ease, not filled with anxiety and fear, and not diminishing yourself or your potential, but you'll actually be expanding it in truth and perseverance. And when you get challenged in your corporate environments or your community work or your relationships at home, or you have health challenges or financial challenges, you'll be aware enough to have a choice to either go down the path of fear or the path of love. Our knee-jerk reaction maybe has been going through fear, but then you'll have a choice. Because when the ego gets engaged, the diseased ego gets engaged, it'll get engaged. That's the contrast. But you'll learn the tools and techniques, the technology, so you'll be aware of it, so you can refresh quickly and be elevated to another level. This is exciting. I can feel exciting in some of y'all's comments, right? And increasing consciousness will raise your understanding of what's abstract. You know, everything starts in the abstract. It starts in spirit. So we have to raise our consciousness, our connection with that fourth dimension, with the ghaib, right? What we can't touch with our senses. And then look at what you can do in concrete terms to integrate higher intelligence. You'll be able to use a systematic approach on how to be more aligned with the greater consciousness that's here to support you and all living creatures. Lastly, you'll understand your limiting beliefs and those contrasting energies that are needed in order to improve for yourself. Stronger decision making to leave those limiting beliefs behind and reinforce new beliefs in the best interest of the life that you want to produce for yourself, for your family, for your community. And you'll see evidence of the new decisions, the new beliefs that makes it even more believable for you. Now, I got to say this, that this is for you if you're ready for transformation. If you are sick and tired of being sick and tired, right? If you're experiencing some dissatisfaction because your mind and body are in opposition to your soul, that's what dissatisfaction is. It's for you if you're in mental, emotional pain or just stress, and you have a genuine desire for more peace and less stress. This is for you if you want to feel better, do better, and achieve more. But this is not for you if you're not ready to look at the man or the woman in the mirror and make that change like Michael Jackson. If you're not willing to do the self-reflection and do the inner work to grow, it's not for you. It's not for you if you're not willing to invest some money and time in your own growth and satisfaction and happiness. It's not for you if you think you can do it all on your own, that you don't need any help. It's not for you if you think, well, I already know that stuff. Because that means you won't be willing to learn and develop and grow. So we are inviting you. Right? I say we, right? It's Dr. Z and the angels that are with Dr. Z. We're inviting you. And why should you act now? Well, this opportunity may not come around again. You know, God responds to what we ask for. And the law is ask and it is given. But the answers, they're not going to come when we think it's most convenient for us. Oftentimes, what we really want doesn't come when it's convenient. But that's how we grow, because we stretch and we raise our capacity. What we want comes on God's timing. Yes. And his timing is impeccable. His timing is infallible, and he's always right on time. Why? Because he knows what your condition is, and he knows when we need it the most. The consciousness the most. Yes. Alhamdulillah, the praise belongs to Allah. You ask. God responds to your call when you ask. But it's up for you and me and us to respond to his call so that we can believe and be rightly guided to what we want to create in this life. So now's the time. There's an old R&B song. It's old, y'all, like maybe the 70s, right? Yes. And the song was by Atlantic Star. And the line goes something like this. It say, when love calls, you better answer. 'Cause it might be a big mistake if you decide to hesitate. And then it goes on, is it 'cause love may never come again? You better listen, yeah. I love that song, that message. Now, I can't sing too good, but that's all right. It's the message, right? And I just want to remind you that love is calling your name right now. Now is your time. There's no coincidence that you're here. Now is your time. And you can do this. Just allow yourself to make a new decision about you and about your future. So, this is you, and you're ready, and you're willing, you're able to receive, then book a call with me. And this is how you can do it. I'm going to put it in the chat again, but it's at www.superperformance.as.me. Just click that link, book 30 minutes. We can talk about what you're wanting to create. Talk about how you might implement what we're talking about. If you're ready to next level up your life and business. Because these leading edge tools and technologies that we teach, they work. And you can be, do, and have what it is that you desire. So, book a call, superperformance.as.me, And this is Dr. Z, and I'm out. Peace.